I just want to say I'm very excited. As Himanshu said, this is our second user group conference, right? This is my second time in India, and I'm enjoying myself. It's a great country to be. It's lovely people. It is excellent food. I think I said the same thing last year, and I probably say the same thing next year. You can see, if you look around it, the event definitely grows. It's amazing to see that there's just so many people, and it shows the dedication that you have as a country and as a region. And I do want to thank you all personally for making the time to travel over. I was watching social media. I saw people driving, flying. There's people coming from all out the region. And that's dedication, right? It's taking time off your busy schedule. It's taking time out of your money out of your pocket to be here, which is really good. So I think the agenda, you've probably all seen, is looking very solid. So that's going to be definitely a really, really good event. So for me, it's the honor to kick it off today. And I can talk endlessly about Sitecore, but before I do it, I do want to stress out, if you want to share anything on social media, these are the hashtags. If you want to reach out to me, you can also reach out to me on Twitter with any questions, and I'm more than happy to try to respond as quickly as possible, which is not always directly. All right, but I'm not here to talk about social media or how much I love India. I'm here to talk about Sitecore. And about the strategy. How do we work as Sitecore? How do we spend our money? How do we invest in research and development? So basically, if we look at those three main things, right? Sitecore has an investment or an research and development strategy based on three categories. So the first one being innovation. So innovation is basically what makes us unique, right? As Himanshu was saying, there's so many competitors out there that do digital experience management, that do commerce, that do content management. We need to stand out. And to stand out, we need to innovate. Examples of this, and we'll talk more about it later on in this presentation, is Cortex with machine learning, it's JSS with JavaScript development. So we need to stand out, we need to do things that competitors are not doing. If you look at our second pillar then, which is time to market, it's all about the entire life cycle of development, right? It's about installing, upgrading, it's about development. It's about configuring, it's deploying, scaling up, scaling down. This all needs to be fast, easy, and reliable. That way, you can do your job more efficient and have more time to focus on innovating and on fun stuff. So, going to the last one then, enhancements. Enhancement is all about improving our platform. And we enhance our product based on the feedback from our partners, from our customers, but also from our community. We will look at the support tickets. We'll look at feedback that we're getting from the field, and we'll enhance our platform to make it better. So part of this talk will be about 9.2. So the release of Sitecore 9.2 is on its way. It will be released this quarter. Today I'll provide you the first insights into 9.2. I won't focus too much on the marketing pieces, but more on the technical insights, right? Things that you work with on your day-to-day basis, things that hopefully improve your day-to-day job. For across the board, right? From front-end development, back-end development, till content authors. So when I was prepping this session, right, I could talk endlessly about strategic pillars, and I think they're really spot on. I like the enhancement part. But I thought of it from my developer point of view, right? What does these strategic pillars mean to me in my day-to-day job? What does these words do to me? So if I look at innovation, for me, innovation is excitement. It makes my technical heart go faster, right? It creates opportunities to use cutting-edge solutions to create implementations that matter, right? Take an example with Cortex. It provides you handles and opportunities to work with machine learning. JSS provides you the opportunity to work with new cutting-edge from the JavaScript frameworks. Then, if we go to time to market. For me, time to market is all about efficiency. How can you do your job more efficient? We do not want you to build the same component over and over again, build the same feature over and over again. If we work on time to market and if we improve it as a complete community and ecosystem, you have more time to focus on the innovating and on the fun stuff of your job. So going then to that last strategic pillar, which is enhancement. Enhancement for me is all about comfort. It's ensuring that you have a comfortable working environment. To me personally, Sitecore should be the platform that you prefer to work on. It should not be blocking you on doing your day-to-day job, and it should definitely not be frustrating. So if you look at those three pillars, I think enhancement is key to our success. If we make you comfortable doing your job, it will increase your work, you'll be more efficient with time to market, and you have more time to innovate, which will lead to more value for our shared customers. So going into each of these pillars, right? Starting off with innovation. I want to share 3 key innovations that we released either in 9.1 or upcoming in 9.2. It will contain something for the front-end developer, something for a back-end developer, and something for end users. So starting off with the first one, which is all about the back-end user, it's Sitecore Cortex. Sitecore Cortex will provide you the way to use your analytics data with the power of machine learning. So before I dive into machine learning, I want to talk a bit about why machine learning matters and how did we get down the road from where we started as a CMS company towards the need of machine learning. So I've been with Sitecore for more than 8 years. I started as a pre-sales consultant in the Netherlands, where I sold Sitecore as a CMS. That's where we came from. That's where our heritage. We were a CMS, and we did website, content management for website. And we sold that really well. It's a good story. But the web evolved. We got mobile. We got social media. We got advertising. There's more and more channels coming. And it's still evolving. More channels are added to it. So then we introduced digital experience marketing. We were the first one in the space. A really exciting time. We started harvesting everything, all the data that we could find. The interactions, the conversions, the test results, patterns, basically any data we could get on our prospect, on our customers, or on our partners. Which was very interesting because we got loads of data. You know the trends like big data, everyone started harvesting. So looking at Sitecore, this is where we come into a really good play. And I think Sitecore was in a very good position and still is. Because the great thing about Sitecore, and you all know it as a developer, is that it's one native platform. It's not bought and integrated. It's all built from the ground up. So if you look at it, and it's closely tied together, it creates a unique opportunity. Because we can combine that content with the analytics. And if we do that right, with the unified platform that we have the opportunity to create those relevant, personalized experiences in real time. So you can create individualized experience using personalization on any channel. You can improve your content using A/B testing or multivariate testing. You could all get your business insight using the analytics tool within Sitecore. But then we get to the point, if you look at this, and you can all do this with Sitecore now, and you can do it with Sitecore in 4 years. But the point here is, at the end, it's all human work. And as far as I know, humans can only do one task at a time. They can only process a limited amount of data, and at the end, they're all biased in their outcomes. So which brings us to the question, how does this scale, right? How does this scale if we want to create positive, relevant experiences in real time on all these channels? So that's where machine learning comes in. Machine learning with Sitecore Cortex will help you provide that. One of the features will be suggested personalization, and we'll go a bit deeper into that. So machine learning will analyze the data that you have, and it will help you to drive business results for your customers. So now going into machine learning, as I said a few times, machine learning needs loads of data, structured data. If you don't have the right data, right, you cannot really train your model. It will get the wrong outcomes. The personalization or the outcomes of machine learning, it will provide you patterns that doesn't help you solve a problem. It's all missing data. It will have biased outcomes. So you need to have that structured data. And Sitecore, again, is in a unique spot because our customers have been harvesting and saving the data in the experience database. So we have that structured data that we can work from. So now's the time to get value from that experience database. So Cortex is that way of getting that data out of the experience database. And again, as you know from Sitecore, the architecture is fully pluggable. So do you have your own expertise in this space? You can bring it. Do you have domain knowledge? Bring it. You can even replace the end technology at this point. So let's dive a bit deeper now into the technology. How does suggested personalization, a feature released with Sitecore 9.1 and Cortex, works under the hood? So we'll start here with a multivariate test, right? You can see it here. It's a standard multivariate test. It rotates different variants, it accumulates the statistics, and it tells you which variant preferred better. So if we look at this one, right, you see that the original variant worked best at all. That's why experience 1 and 2 show up red, and Sitecore basically says your test didn't give any improvements. So if you run this test, you will get an improvement because the original text is performing the best. So now with 9.1 and Cortex, an event will be triggered. after the test is finished. That event will go to a message bus. Where the message bus is already in Sitecore used by EXM, right? Then we have the data processing engine that's always looking at the message bus. It will pick up the message, and then it will spin up the right kind of ML worker. So if we look at the ML workers that we have, it will spin that up for you. It will orchestrate the task that's in the ML worker and make sure it's finished. So if we look at the different types we have, you can also extend these workers, right? So we provided you with the suggested personalization worker, but of course, as you know from Sitecore, you can extend it with your own machine learning workers. If you look at Sitecore, we use Microsoft Machine Learning Server as default, but again, if you prefer Watson or a Spark, you can all use it. It's all possible in your own custom ML workers. So any worker will contain multiple tasks, right, which will do anything from clear the data to enrich the data to train the model, right? Everything that a machine learning worker do. So at the end, right, every time when a task is finished, it will go back to the message bus, and then this Sitecore data processor engine will kick off the next task within the machine learning worker. So as soon as the final results are finished, it will go to storage, right? In persistent storage. This could be a different way of storing. It could be a facet on a contact in the XDB database using XConnect, or it can store it in the reporting database. It's just whatever you want it to do. You could again also extend it using Power BI, using Excel, whatever tool you want to use, you can extend it with Sitecore. Of course, this is development work that you need to do. So if we then look to the suggested personalization worker, it stores its data in the reporting database. So think about this. It went through the whole cycle. It stores their results in the reporting database. So now let's take a look how that will work from a business point of view. So here again, we're at the same multivariate testing. This time we run it with Sitecore 9.1 and Cortex. So you can see there's a new tab called Suggested Personalization, and it gets all the data from the reporting database. So Sitecore Cortex will provide you with additional insights. So let's take a look. I know it's hard to read, so I zoomed it out a bit for you. So what Sitecore Cortex will do, it will recognize segments. So in this example, it will recognize experience one segment, which is all about a country, right? It's a segment based on the country, Denmark and the Netherlands, in combination with a campaign and a device. What this report says now is that this segment only covers 8.33% of all the visitors, which is a small amount. But the interesting part is that this specific segment from this country on this device with this campaign had a value increase of 2 times with 234%. So if you would apply this segment to a personalization rule, which is suggested, it will get a 19.5% uplift of the total value of your website. So basically at this point, Cortex is creating value for your customers and value for you without doing anything. So I think that is a pretty cool feature that will definitely make your business user happy. And again, for you, there's all the opportunity to extend so it fits towards the business that your customers need. So going to the second piece of innovation, right, focusing on the back-end development. We've been standardizing the way how we work with microservices as we're moving to a microservices architecture. So what we've done here, we build a series of assemblies, right? And these assemblies cover things that every microservices need. Example like logging, configuration, or plugin management. We all want to do that in a similar way. So we bundled these assemblies into Sitecore Host. And Sitecore Host basically groups it and will be the base class of all our microservices moving forward. So in 9.2, we already updated Host a bit. What we've done here is we've improved the services that are on top of it, but for 9.2 Host itself, the basis, we made sure it's all the way up to date with NetCore and all the third-party libraries that we use. But we also went further. We continued that road down where we updated and created new services. So the first one here that we have here is the identity service. It has been released with 9.1. In 9.2, we added new features to it. Everything around authentication. So we added single sign-out, we added token invalidation, and persistent storage. So we're still investing in those new microservices. But the good news here is we're not only focusing on creating new future services based on Host, we're also migrating our existing microservices to Sitecore Host. For example, if you look at the publish engines, it will from 9.2 be based on Sitecore Host. So this means for you, it greatly improves maintenance and installation. You only need to know one way of working with Sitecore's microservices. There's only one learning curve. So for me, this is all great news for Sitecore's microservices services-based future. So hitting the next innovation, we head into Sitecore Omni. And Sitecore Omni is an interesting one. It might be more one for a marketer, but it has a technical background. For me, it has been a really interesting ride to position it. So Sitecore Omni is the way how we position headless. And I think headless is a really interesting talk to have because it's really technical, so it really fits in well with what we do, but it's also really a marketing buzzword that we've seen in the past. So if we look in the market, we see that headless is often positioned as the single solution, that there's one magical way of doing headless. But there's no one approach for headless, right? There's no one single way of doing headless solutions. In the real world, we have different customers with different digital marketing challenges and different solutions to it. An example could be a solution where the CMS is still only a content hub, right? So it only provides content to REST APIs. It could be a progressive web app that you want to track offline. It could be a mobile app that you want to track and personalize. These are all valid use cases for headless scenarios. So if we look at Omni, it's basically a collection of products that can support all the headless scenarios that we've seen in the market. So it contains 5 products. The first one, JSS. Who here knows what JSS is? Can you raise your hands? A few, all right. We'll spend some time on it. I have Anastasia in the room here who's my front-end evangelist. She will show you some new stuff, what's coming in night 2, and introduce you to JSS, and she will also have a session fully on JSS. But in short, what JSS is, it's a toolkit built based on top of Sitecore, and it allows you to use modern front-end frameworks to build Sitecore solutions. The next one, GraphQL. GraphQL is a modern query language. It's used a lot in the front-end world. We have Sitecore Services Client, which has been internally used for a long time, building speak components, and we're still investing in it. It's basically an easy way to get content out of Sitecore without any tracking knowledge or without any specific features on it. You can do it with SXA. If you have an SXA website, you can do JSON data modeling. And the last one is a more interesting one. It's a universal tracker, but I want to spend a bit more time with it later on.